we ask you to please join the Boston Celtics, the Miami Heat, and the entire NBA family in a moment of silence for the victims of the unspeakable tragedy at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. Our thoughts are with the entire Robb Elementary School and Uvalde communities, the victims, their families, and all of those impacted by this senseless tragedy.
Celtics Heat Game 6 at TD Garden. A moment of silence became a moment of reckoning.
The police should have did something.
The Celtics urge you to contact your U.S. Senators by calling 202.
Yeah!
Visit Celtics.com/takeaction to register and let your voice be heard this fall.
Because you see, these are not normal times the gun lobby has thrust upon us. It is the constant fear they value.
And you know what? With the guy in the crowd in the 300 section who yelled, "The cops should have did something," he's right. And now the cover-up with the Uvalde Police Department is apparently in full swing.
Pedro Arredondo, the chief of police in Uvalde, has refused to cooperate with investigators. He is the man who ordered police to stand down for an hour outside Robb Elementary.
Then, this happened.
He was scheduled to be sworn in as a member of the city council today at a city council meeting in Uvalde. And yesterday we reported to you that that meeting of the city council for today was canceled. That was the end of the story for today, as far as we knew. And now, tonight, the city council, the mayor of Uvalde, the Republican mayor of Uvalde, has just issued a statement indicating that no, they didn't have the city council meeting, but the police chief was sworn in as a member of the city council today, and that happened while he's been hiding out from investigators who are trying to get more information from this police chief who has been AWOL for 2 days, but he did get sworn in tonight.
That's right, a cowardice police chief who is running and evading and trying to stay away from being held accountable was secretly sworn in by Don McLaughlin, the mayor of Uvalde, Texas, who does not care about gun violence at all.
Excuse me.
Sit down.
You're out of line and an embarrassment.
Sit down and don't play this.
Yep, that's him.
This is simply what Republicans do. They're good at it. You know how they got good at it? Practice. You know how they practice? Because this happens all the time in this country. They go up there with their little press conferences and they meet the public. They talk in a soft tone like Greg Abbott did. And they do this with their eyebrows. And they give this image of, I really care. But really, they don't. They don't care.
How did an 18-year-old, just a few days or weeks after his 18th birthday, not buy one, but eventually 2 AR-15s, one of which was used in this massacre yesterday, without a gun license? He doesn't even have a driver's license. Why is that access? Why should that access be available?
Well, look, I mean, again,
I'm just warning you. Brace yourself for RNC-driven talking points that deflect from, the gun.
Everybody has a right to own a gun. I'm not against expanded background checks. I'm not. But everybody comes in and talks about immediately we want to do gun control. We want to sanction the gun lobbyists. We want to sanction this and we want to sanction that. But you know what? Why don't you politicians get off your butts and let's talk about mental health and let's do something for real once. We give millions of dollars to all these countries, and right now we're spending billions down here on the border.
Yes, the border. Blame the brown people. Nice, sir. You can't make the argument that mental health is an important piece of legislation when the governor of the state slashed $211 million from the department that oversees mental health programs. It's a despicable revisionist history line of crap. Under his party's leadership, Texas ranks dead last for overall access to mental health care.
These are not serious people. They are people who are owned by the gun lobby. And thus, they say, look, shiny red ball, mental health, problems, anything but, the thing that kills people. Anything, look over here, look over here. It's just what they do. Now, back to the police chief.
But 19 students and 2 teachers lost their lives. Texas authorities say the school district police chief wrongly believed the situation was no longer an active shooter and had ordered tactical teams not to enter the classroom while the children desperately called 911 for help. Just 2 months ago, Uvalde School District hosted an active shooter training for their 6-member police force. The course stating officers' first priority is to move in and confront the attacker, making it explicitly clear first responder unwilling to place their lives of the innocent above their own safety should consider another career field.
Because you see, giving police more money does not solve these problems. Even if the training says choose another career field, if you're unwilling to do the job you signed up for. You have good little foot soldiers like DPS Lieutenant Chris Olivares, who goes on national television and says they could have been shot, they could have been killed.
But the reality is, as horrible as what happened, it could have been worse.
This is what they offer in those Fugazi pressers to pretend to show decent morality. The guns are the problem. The lax laws to purchase a gun are the problem. Republicans' propaganda for the gun lobby remains the problem. It's hardly surprising because we have talked about police brutality, misconduct, and what journalists uncover within local police departments all the time. Because Colin Kaepernick brought us to bring light to this issue, study it, address it, and try to have a systemic positive change for it. There are cover-ups. Imagine, and I thought about this last week, imagine what happens when the national media and each of the most powerful media organizations are not in a small town like Uvalde, Texas, to expose the lies. Think about what police get away with when the national spotlight is not on them. Is this surprising to any of us that have followed police misconduct, brutality, the cover-ups over and over again? Of course not. For many, it's just par for the course.